The angel of the Lord comes to a man who's trying not to be found, and he says, verse 12, you are a valiant warrior. He says that to a man who is currently operating in fear and insecurity. That man is currently hiding. He is currently behaving in a way that is completely distinct from what God says. But God does not show up and say to him, you are how you are behaving. He says, no, you are not how you are behaving. You are who I say you are. And I want somebody to be free in the room tonight. You are not what you did last weekend. You are not your history. You are not what you did when you were in college. You are not the bad choice that you made. You are not the struggle that you've been having internally and wrestling with. Those are real things that you might have to walk through in order to learn how to walk healthfully. But you still are exactly who God says that you are. What if you and I started acting like God was telling the truth? What if we stopped making decisions based on the way we feel and based on what God says? Can you imagine that if we absorbed Ephesians chapter 1 and 2 is the most comprehensive place in Scripture. Write that down so you don't forget. Ephesians chapter 1 and 2 is the most comprehensive place in Scripture where our identity as daughters of the Most High God is concentrated in Scripture. If you absorbed that and meditated on it and pondered it and made it a part of the atmosphere of your thinking and the renewal of your mind, and then you started to act like what God says, and let that be the determining factor. Single women, can you imagine what dates you wouldn't go on? Can you imagine that if any of us we're no longer looking for acceptance, the things that we wouldn't post, the things that we wouldn't say because now I actually don't need your approval. I'm already approved. I don't need your applause. I have the applause of heaven. It changes the entire framework of our lives when we just act in a way that lines up with what God says instead of the way we feel. You are chosen. Act like that. He has not given you a spirit of fear. Act like that. Be the daughters of God that He has called us to be.